We are carrying on in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, The Family Afterward, page 125. Many alcoholics are enthusiasts. They run to extremes. At the beginning of a recovery, a man will take, as a rule, one of two directions. He may either plunge into a frantic attempt to get his feet in business, or he may be so enthralled by his new life that he talks or thinks of little else. In either case, certain family problems will arise. With these, we have had experience galore. We think it dangerous if he rushes headlong at his economic problem. The family will be affected also, pleasantly at first, as they feel their money troubles are about to be solved, then not so pleasantly as they find themselves neglected. Dad may be tired at night and preoccupied by day. He may take small interest in the children and may show irritation when reproved for his delinquencies. If not irritable, he may seem dull and boring, not gay and affectionate as the family would like him to be. Mother may complain of inattention. They are all disappointed and often let him feel it. Beginning with such complaints, a barrier arises. He is straining every nerve to make up for lost time. He is striving to recover fortune and reputation and feels he is doing very well. Sometimes mother and children don't think so. Having been neglected and misused in the past, they think father owes them more than they are getting. They want him to make a fuss over them. They expect him to give them the nice times they used to have before he drank so much, and to show his contrition for what they've suffered. Here I stumble over a word. But Dad doesn't freely give of himself. Resentment grows. He becomes still less communicative. Sometimes he explodes over a trifle. The family is mystified. They criticize, pointing out that he is falling down on his spiritual program. This sort of thing can be avoided. Both father and family are mistaken, though each side may have some justification. It is of little use to argue and only makes the impasse worse. The family must realize that Dad, though marvelously improved, is still convalescing. They should be thankful that he is sober and able to be of this world once more. Let them praise his progress. Let them remember that his drinking wrought all sorts of damage that may take long to repair. If they sense these things, they will not take so seriously his periods of crankiness, depressions, or apathy, which will disappear when there is tolerance, love, and spiritual understanding. So we'll stop there and then talk about that a bit. Excuse me. So I like how it says he takes one of two directions. He may either plunge into a frantic attempt to get his feet in the business or maybe so enthralled in his new life. I've seen that a million times. Going head first into working with others and neglecting all else and speaking only of recovery and almost standing on a soapbox, or plunging right back into being a workaholic. I've got to work. And then when you're not working, you're going to meetings or working with others. And so, the family can be neglected. Page 127, Marla, is where we ended. So we read 26 and 27. And so, the worst thing a family can do is start to nag or to question your spirituality. I once dated a guy. He's like, you should call your sponsor. Like, ooh, how that would make my skin crawl, right? Or someone, are you working your steps? Where are you in your step work? Like, things we really, really don't want to say to our partner when they're trying to recover. We want to be supportive. It's always a fine line, because I know for myself I can be quite testy if someone was to say something, but I've gotten really good at explaining it, especially to my kids, right? 'Cause that's all I had for a long time. So I have to go to work because I need to pay the bills. I have to work on my recovery because that's what gives us this life we have. But it's a really fine line of trying to find that balance of everything. And so easy to go one way or the other. Myself, I tend to go more to the service side than I do to the work side. And I'm always out of balance. Always, always, always. But I'm aware of it. I'm working on it. Progress, not perfection. Like I've been on the Zoom since 7 a.m. My phone's been going all day. But I'll do something with my kids later today. So, we have to keep that balance. Ladies, Marianne.
Hi, friends. I am an alcoholic from Toronto. My name's Marianne. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be sober. So the person who took me through this book had me write this in the margin. She had me write, watch your direction. Balance is important. So she could see where I was going. I had a couple of tries at this, and it was all recovery and all this. So balance is always a challenge with me, even exercise or anything. And she said, be careful not to create new behaviors in sobriety. Because I'm an instant gratification girl, I'd go head on into exercise, or I got to lose 100 pounds in, 5 days. And it's just, I am an extreme girl. So once that was pointed out to me, as long as I'm aware of what's going on, I can do something about it. But so I needed to have really good sobriety advising me, and I needed to share this with people so that they could help me and see. Because I'm around people that don't have a program, and they're, sometimes very sick. And I've had, my very close partners say to me, I don't think those meetings are doing you very good. Like, waste the time to me. And that's because I'm getting well. And I think they are doing well for me. So, it comes at you real hard. So you just got to kind of stay really centered and grounded and talk about it. Because when I get up here and figure it all out, that's when I get into trouble. So I'm so grateful for you all to be here today. Thanks.
Thank you. And it's way better and softer approach when our spiritual friends and family tells us, hey, you're a little off kilter. What's missing, than it is our family and our spouses or partners telling us that we're off kilter. We take it a little better from one another, like saying, hey, if you're not done your 5, let's get going, is going to be a lot better between us ladies here than it is if your partner's like, where are you in your steps? Are you done the work yet? Because that's not going to go over very well. I have some really good people in my group that, they're like, you're a little too unbalanced. You need to do some stuff for you. Slow down. Jeanette.
Hi, everyone. Jeanette, alcoholic. I don't know why I can't put my name up there, but my rename says iPhone, so that's who I'll be today. For me, I went to a therapist, and she suggested AA after hearing about my history and my family history. And I remember coming back to her and saying, oh my God, there's so many people that are divorced in AA. And she said, listen, I can assure you this, those marriages were already crumbling before those people got into AA. So I think in my family situation, it was what my husband got used to, me passing out or being passed out on the couch. So now all of a sudden I flipped a switch. I started going to meetings. I'm out every single night. Where are you? This is like a cult. And so it took consistency on my part that I went to meetings, that I followed the suggestions of my sponsor, and eventually things mellowed out in the family. I mean, I'm 20 years in the program, and I, now of course it's Zoom, so I'm home, but it was down to 3 meetings a week is what worked for me. But yeah, I also have to watch those enthusiastic craziness that I can have, in my life, in anything, like, the gal that shared before, in exercising, in a diet, in Um, it's like full speed ahead, and move out of the way. So I have to be reminded, and that's why I think it's so important that I stay in contact with my sponsor when we talk about what's going on in my life. That's still what works for me. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Jeanette. Does anybody else want to share on this? Nope, no hands up. Kathy Ann? There you go.
I'm here. Oh gosh, I've been in the program for a lot of years. I've been to treatment, but I can't manage to go past 9 months. I relapsed April 15th after my mother died, and I've been going to these Zoom meetings like 2, 3, 4 times a day, and my husband is like, I'm neglecting him. He doesn't realize how important it is for me to go to these meetings. Anyway, so it's really hard for me because I used to. Okay, I'm in my car right now. I'm at the Starbucks drinking latte. But he's like, I'm neglecting things that it's really. Anyway, I relapsed last night after 110 days. My husband called me a fucking bitch yesterday, and so I packed my bags, and I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I'm just having a hard time right now. But this is where I need to be. I need to be in a meeting, and I've been talking to members of my home group that are helping me through it. But I'm not going home for a few days. I didn't deserve to be called a fucking bitch because I'm not.
No.
And I packed up all my books. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm so thankful for all of you.
I'm glad you're here, Kathy. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're. Would any of the ladies like to speak to Kathy? Marianne?
Yeah, I can share something that happened with me, and I had been around for a long time, and I was pretty well. I almost died. By the time I got back here, I almost died. So I was pretty desperate. And I did have the good fortune of my husband had to go away on a business trip for about 2.5 weeks, and it was new into sobriety, and it just gave me a bit of time to just really focus on what I had to do and get busy in this program, because I had been around too long and I had opined too long and I had taken no action. And so, although it's very painful right now, it may be a blessing, because then you can just look at and focus on what you need to do now. Because if you've been around a long time and you're not getting this, for me, it was taking some of the actions that were told to me to do before I got anywhere, and I just had to really focus on that. And that is hard, but if I kept telling myself, okay, get well, and the rest will straighten out, because I was just overwhelmed until I started getting well. So, take the time that you need, because it's life and death, right? You don't have anything unless you have sobriety. Thanks.
I'm Sharon. I'm an alcoholic. Kathy Ann, I just want to second what Marianne just said. I lost my mom just a month ago, and pain. It's just in one of our books. It says that pain is the touchstone of all spiritual growth, and you're in a lot of pain right now. And sometimes that's what we need in order to open ourselves up to what our program has to offer. And I just encourage you to keep coming back and lean on the women here and also in your home group and share what's going on with you, because it will get better. It will. It might take a little time, but it will get better. That's all. I'll put my phone number in if you want to call. I'll put my phone number in the chat.
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, that's a good idea. Ladies, if you want to private message your numbers to Kathy Ann, that would be great. I'll keep reading, and then maybe after we can help Kathy Ann some more. Okay. The head of the house ought to remember that he is mainly to blame for what befell his home. He can scarcely square the account in his lifetime, but he must see the danger of over-concentrating on financial success. Although financial recovery is on the way for many of us, we found we could not place money first. For us, material well-being always followed spiritual progress. It never preceded. Since the home has suffered more than anything else, it is well that a man exert himself there. He is not likely to get far in any direction if he falls to show unselfishness and love under his own roof. We know there are difficulties. We know there are difficult wives and families, but the man who is getting over alcoholism must remember he did much to make them so. As each member of a resentful family begins to see his shortcomings and admits them to others, he lay a basis for helpful discussion. These family talks will be constructive if they can be carried on without heated argument, self-pity, self-justification, or resentful criticism. Little by little, mother and children will see they ask too much, and father will see he gives too little. Giving rather than getting will become the guiding principle. Assume, on the other hand, that father has, at the outset, a stirring spiritual experience. Overnight, as it were, he is a different man. He becomes a religious enthusiast. He is unable to focus on anything else. As soon as his sobriety begins to be taken as a matter of course, the family may look at their strange new dad with apprehension, then with irritation. There is talk about spiritual matters morning, noon, and night. He may demand that the family find God in a hurry or exhibit amazing indifference to them and say he is above worldly considerations. He may tell mother, who has been religious all her life, that she doesn't know what it's all about, and that she had better get his brand of spirituality while there is yet time.
Thanks for reading, Della. Thanks, ladies. Sorry about that tax season. So father has found his spirituality and, wants the rest of the family to get it. And we've talked about this previously in previous chapters. The best way to get other people in your family to join you on a spiritual path is to walk in that spiritual path and just show them the light that's shining in your life. Instead of trying to push your spirituality on other people and force them to accept your new way of life, it's, walk in that light. Show everyone your light. And that light tends to light up other people. There's a really, really good meme on Facebook, and it shows 4 different pictures. And the first guy's the yellow guy, and he's walking, and everybody around him is gray. And then in the next picture is the yellow guy, and then the first few people are yellow, and the rest are gray. And then the next one, he's still smiling in yellow, and the more yellow is going. So the more we shine our light and shine that spirituality and show that we are living this spiritual way of life, the more likely it is that our family and friends are going to adopt this way. For mine, in my home, we live a recovery-filled home, and my children have reaped the benefits of that. I didn't have a partner for the past year and a half, and so it was just my kids and I, and Summer adopted this way of life just by osmosis and from seeing me be in this way of life. And she ended up, not to bring outside things, but she ended up accepting God into her heart, and she lives in the light now, and she shares that and that love and kindness when she's going, and she's 10, she'll be 11 in 2 weeks. So it's that light that we can attract other people to us with. Anyone else with experience on your family accepting or denying your spiritual way, or some follies in trying to push your spirituality? Lois in the Poconos.
Yes, I'm sorry I was late. I got home from work late today, but it's true. If you adopt the spiritual life and you start looking at your own shortcomings and not placing blame on the other person, the situation at home does benefit. My 2 children at least had the benefit of being able to come to me. I would not stand in the way of any discipline and stuff that their father gave them, but when they had problems, it just seemed like they came to me. And it probably was because they saw that spiritual benefit that I had. I can remember picking my son up when he would go out and have a few drinks, and I told him, I said, if you have to call me, it doesn't matter what time you call me, and I'll come get you. And it was that acceptance, I think, that made it so that he was able to come to me when he did have a problem. So if you can keep that communication open with the family, that's truly so beneficial for the whole family. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lois. And just really quick, Kathy Ann, I sent you my number in the chat. Either send me your number before your phone dies, or take my number down, run to the dollar store and pick yourself up a cheap charger and charge up your phone and give us a call. I have a complete phone list for the ladies in this group that I can give you, but you got to get connected to us before we can connect you. So make sure you get my number or send me your number before your phone dies. Then go get yourself a charger and I can connect you when you're powered up. All right, sorry. Marianne in Toronto.
Yeah, when I sobered up, there was a lot of wreckage around me, and and there was a lot of angry people around me. And I had a husband who, I was like 2 weeks sober, and he's still over me screaming, "You're a drunk, sober up, get better." And I really had to depend on you guys, and because that stuff, just, I would call you and I would say to my sponsor, like, what am I supposed to do? And you would ground me and you'd say, let's do what's in front of you right now. Let's get into the book. Let's get into the work. And I really had to be reminded of that, like every minute of a day sort of thing, when he was around. And I had to realize that I didn't have the answer. I mean, I remember one time listening to a very spiritual, or going and talking very spiritual about something, and realizing that, my God, these people all around me have lived this way all their lives. And I felt like about that big after I realized it, so it was like, my point is, all of this is new, and the angst and everything is just coming at you at once. So I wouldn't have gotten through it unless I had sober recovery around me that could help me discern this. And because I had no capability of not reacting without you. So it was real important to pick up that phone. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Christine M.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are you guys? Good to be there. Was able to get off work to be there. I don't know. It's a touching subject for me, especially hearing, how difficult it can be at the beginning. I know for myself, I mean, I think God does for me what I cannot do for myself. I came to AA after a relationship, you know. That's kind of how I was propelled into my bottom. And I don't know how I would have done it being in a relationship, getting sober, because number one, I needed to immerse myself into Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, and I mean, I worked and I went to meetings. That's what I did, and that's what I needed to do. And being a codependent at the time, particularly, I mean, I don't see how I would have been able to put me first. I have no idea. To die on self be true. To have that strength to do what I need to do, whatever that is, whatever that may be, to put my sobriety first, and to have someone criticize me for that, or bewilder me for that, or whatever. I don't know how I would have been able to handle that. However, I did not have kids, so I only had me to think about. I think having kids probably is more complicated. But anyway, so for me, it was a blessing. And, you know, I was able to get into a relationship after 2 years. And I'm so glad I did that. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, getting into a fight with my lover and then, you know, wanting to drink. Jesus, you know. At 4 months of sobriety, I got into a fight at work with an AA member who worked at my place of work, and I went and I drank. Imagine with someone really close to me. Unbelievable. And also, I was working in restaurants at the time, so there's alcohol all over the place. So I really needed to immerse myself in Alcoholics Anonymous and be around sober people. I needed brainwashing. I really did. So thank you so much for being there.
Thank you so much, Christine. Leslie G.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Another word that has been sinking in with me and is in one of my favorite prayers is channels. And opening up channels when I reach out, when I share of myself, when it seems like the right time, in the right place, with the right person. And then allowing my higher power, their higher power, the universe to flow in the channel. And definitely not instant gratification, but the results that I have experienced, keep me striving for that and reaching out for that. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Alrighty. When Father takes this tact, the family may react unfavorably. They may be jealous of a God who has stolen Dad's affections. While grateful that he drinks no more, they may not like the idea that God has accomplished the miracle where they had failed. They often forget Father was beyond human aid. They might not see why their love and devotion did not straighten him out. Dad is not so spiritual after all, they say. If he means to right his past wrongs, why all this concern for everyone in the world but his family? What about his talk that God will take care of them? They suspect Father is a bit balmy. He is not so unbalanced as they might think. Many of us have experienced Dad's elation. We have indulged in a spiritual intoxication. Like a gaunt prospector, belt drawn in over the last ounce of food, our pick struck gold. Joy at our release from a lifetime of frustration knew no bounds. Father feels like he has struck something better than gold. For a time, he may try to hug the new treasure to himself. He may not see all at once that he was barely scratched a limitless node which will pay dividends only if he minds it for the rest of his life and insists on giving away the entire product. If the family cooperates, Dad will soon see that he is suffering from a distortion of values. He will perceive that his spiritual growth is lopsided, that for an average man like himself, a spiritual life which does not include his family obligations may not be so perfect after all. If the family will appreciate that Dad's current behavior is but a phase of his development, all will be well. In the midst of an understanding and sympathetic family, these vagaries of Dad's spiritual infancy will quickly disappear. The opposite may happen should the family condemn and criticize. Dad may feel that for years his drinking has placed him on the wrong side of every argument, but that now he has become a superior person with God on his side. If the family persists in criticism, this fallacy may take still greater hold on Father. Instead of treating the family as he should, he may retreat farther into himself and feel his spiritual justification for doing so. Though the family does not fully agree with Dad's spiritual activities, they should let him have his head, even if he displays a certain amount of neglect and irresponsibility toward the family. It is well to let him go as far as he likes in helping other alcoholics. During those first days of convalescence, this will do more to ensure his sobriety than anything else. Though some of his manifestations are alarming and disagreeable, we think Dad will be on a firmer foundation than the man who is placing business or professional success ahead of spiritual development. He will be less likely to drink again, and anything is preferable to that. So again, talking about that balance and working with others, I like a few of these things that's in here. One is being that spiritual intoxication. I've suffered from spiritual intoxication myself on occasion. It's a great feeling, but not the intoxication you want to have. We do want to find more of a balanced and subtle approach. But I love how it says here that he wants to hug that new treasure to himself. He may not see at once that he has barely scratched a limitless load which will pay dividends if only he minds it for the rest of his life and insists on giving away the entire product. Man, what a great mission statement for alcoholics. We find this amazing spiritual fortune, and we want to keep it, and we want to keep it to ourselves. But the way this is designed, we must give away all what we receive and find in order to have this joy and serenity. I have a few friends who have come into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and who have gotten this amazing gift and reaped the rewards, and then they walk away from the fellowship and they don't pass on what's so freely given to them. And at first I thought, wow, that's a dangerous place to be. You're on shaky grounds. And then I thought, how selfish, how self-centered to just take what we're giving and just hoard it to yourselves and not give it away. My first thought was like, wow, you're going to relapse. That's awful. And then I thought, that's really selfish. We need to give away the entire product. And if you know anything about stocks and dividends, and I know a little bit from my financial planner, is it keeps paying dividends. So even though you're giving away your fortune, there's more always replenishing that what was given away. And so our bucket is always full, even if we're giving away all of the overflow. And it's just the way it is designed is absolutely amazing, but we have to keep giving this away in order to keep our bucket full. It's a very selfish thing to take this gift and keep it to ourselves and huddle in the corner with our happy, joyous, and free and not share it with others. And then, of course, we're talking more about the family cooperating with working with others. And it's almost good to let someone go a little bit too far off the deep end in order for them to realize that they need to stay in the middle. I have to do that, right? There was 2 weeks at Christmas. I went way too far over and I went, woo. But I have the right people in my circle that are like, balance. You need to do stuff for you. You can't always be working with newcomers. You need to have friends that are on the spiritual same level as you to fill your cup as much as you're emptying your cup. Because if you're giving too much out of your cup's going to get empty if you're not filling it up in other areas. So we have to keep that balance as best we can. Add to the conversation, please, Marianne in Toronto.
Sorry, I'm talking a lot today.
That's okay. I do too.
Well, for one thing, this whole paragraph, like when this book is written from experience, it's telling me that watch out for this. This stuff, we know this stuff is coming. We've had experience with this. So they're good warning signs for me. And I love this chapter because of it. But I also realize too, as I say, like I know I understand about giving in AA, but this also is, I have an old timer in my group who says this program is portable, Marianne. You take it and you give it out to people that don't have an alcoholic problem. You take this all over the world with you. And that's how you get practice of living this. And it's not so much work, it becomes habit. So I was thinking about him today. So it's portable. Bring it home with you. Thanks.
Absolutely. And it says right in the beginning of our book, our way of living has benefits for everyone. Absolutely everyone. And I frequently have normie friends that ask me, you know, how do you deal with these situations? And because usually, like, but you have tools that I don't have. And so it's 100% portable. Christine.
Yeah, hi, twice a meeting. Hello, I'm still Christine, and I am an alcoholic. I agree with all, you know, with the. I mean, I'm an alcoholic that needs this program. I believe that in Alcoholics Anonymous, there's somewhere written that there are other ways to stay sober, other paths, other whatever. And I know that for this alcoholic, it's Alcoholics Anonymous and the program. However, what I get a little bit scared when I think I'm hearing some kind of dogma or, well, you know, if you don't do it this way and you go and you do it another way, you're doomed for failure. I know people who are sober without Alcoholics Anonymous. God bless them, and they have a fairly sane life. But they have a program. It's based on you know, sometimes it's religion, sometimes it's spirituality with mindfulness, whatever. They have another path. But it's like it's important. I felt like important to say that because Alcoholics Anonymous is all inclusive. And you know, if there's somebody that comes in and then hear, like, you know, this is, they seem to be closed-minded and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It, you know, it kind of, you know, because when I got newly sober, and for many years, I was strict AA, you know, I was like, buy the book, and if you're not like that, you're not a good sober person, and so on and so on. I was judgmental. So anyway, I needed to share that. I hope I did not bruise anyone. But that's what I like about Alcoholics Anonymous. It's like an open communicating system. It's the only place on earth where there's this kind of quality of democracy. So, thanks.
That's right. And our book states we have no monopoly on alcoholism or recovery. And it's like up here in Canada, we have a large recovery group that it's on Facebook, and it's called Recovery Canada, and it's all encompassing. It's not AA based, and I'm an AA girl. And you know, sometimes when you're reading some of the things, you have to remember to take off your AA hat and put your recovery hat on, because there is a lot of different methods. And you know, we have no monopoly. I know that I'm a real alcoholic, and this is the only thing that keeps me sober. So I know this works, and I toot the AA horn quite loudly, but I am one of those people who knows that there is a lot of different ways. And another way to look at it, too, is to remember that we don't want to close the door. We always wish to keep the door open to be useful and helpful to those if and when their methods fail. My previous comment was in reference to giving away freely what you're given. And, you know, I just think that we should, if you are a member of Alcoholics Anonymous who has found the solution through this program, always be sure to give it away freely just as it was given to you. Because that's what we like to do around here. Joanne! Gotta hit your unmute, love. There you go.
All right. I'm Joanna. I'm an alcoholic addict and grateful to be here. Couple of thoughts that came into my mind is I didn't have a family when I came in, but I stayed sober, and eventually I found someone, and we got involved, and then we got married, and then we had children. And there came a time where he was working all the time. He was a software and startup. And it got so crazy that my daughter said once, can Daddy have a sleepover at our house? And I was like, he actually does live here. But it's really hard because once you get sober and you get these responsibilities, you want to be successful. You want to take care of your responsibilities. You want to make a home for your family. You want to do all of this. And yet, I'll just say for myself, I'm an alcoholic addict. And the thing that's part of my character defect is when in doubt or stressed out, run. And so I have a sponsor that said, check your motives. Yeah. You got to pay attention and you got to check your motives, because it is easy to be able to say, I need a meeting because I can't handle any more of the children today, and that might be true. But then you go to the meeting and you feel that relief, and then you want to do it again, and then suddenly you're out of balance. And the truth of the matter is, raising children is hard work. It's hard work. Though I will also say I've raised two children to be adults in a sober house, and it's all worth it. But it is hard work, and sometimes I need to run away. And AA has been there. But to even having two sober parents, balancing, you need to watch the kids because I need a meeting. Well, I had a rough day. I need a meeting. Well, both of us can't bring the children to a 9 o'clock meeting, and babysitters and all that stuff. It's just more complicated. And I think it's not okay to give one of the parents a free pass all the time. Mm-hmm. Maybe after a year, okay, now it's time. The other thing I wanted to just touch really lightly is for women in the program. If there are married, I'm just going to talk about our side of the street. If married men are coming to the meeting and there's after coffee and you hear, my wife doesn't understand me the way you do, run. Because I've seen marriages break up. And it's like, if you are having a hard time, there's a man over there you should talk to, because it's so easy to use AA as a fantasy. I don't have a wife, I don't have children, I'm going to go to a meeting, I'm going to have coffee, I'm going to go out for dessert. There's this cute young woman who really just doesn't want anything from me, and I can flirt with her, and oh my God, it's just a wonderful fantasy. And it does nobody any good. And so I think there's responsibility on both sides, but really, if it's not I don't know if you want to call it 13 stepping or what. Even with older guys in recovery, my wife doesn't understand me. run. Because why we're here is to help each other stay sober. Help each other stay sober, our primary purpose. And so, yeah, I've seen that, and it's really it's so sad when it happens, because so many people, and the wife is like, I supported you for all your drinking, and then you find someone who, and you're leaving me. You know, it just gets complicated. And I love the fact that it says keep it simple and easy does it. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. And just even further to that, because I don't know if it's the same thing, but it lumps all in. And you know me, if it comes to my head, I say it. I've had people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you're so strong in your sobriety. Could we have coffee? I want to run some stuff past you." And if they're of the opposite sex, I say, "Well, you know, I'm seeing someone. I don't think that's appropriate." They say, "Oh, no, it's not like that. I just want to run some stuff past you because you're really strong in the book." No, sorry, I'm seeing someone. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to be having coffee with you. Even if they say, "Oh, no, it's just as friends." Never. No, I can hook you up with someone you can run your stuff by. It doesn't have to be me. That's not appropriate. Someone brought it up yesterday. The vice president, he has that policy. I won't go out with someone of the opposite sex if my wife's not with me. I have the same policy. Like, it's not appropriate. People get weirdos, fantasies in around here. I don't know why. You say hi to someone and they think you're in love with them. Not that that's happened before. All right. Anybody waving at me that doesn't know where their button is? Are we good? Lois, can you unmute yourself?
Sure can. I just wanted to say a little bit about what Christine mentioned. I've got a brother that's got about 40 years of sobriety, not through the program. And he's a great guy, and he's a very stable, responsible person. The thing that pangs me a little is he doesn't give it away to anybody. You know, that's the thing about me. But I know that I can go to him and I can ask him, and I don't talk program to him, but I can ask him almost anything because I know he's got a sane, reasonable, responsible kind of answer for me. So this program isn't for everybody. I being a binge drinker and seeing him get sober by himself, it sort of made me feel bad because I wasn't getting what he was getting. He was raised in my family. You know, we had the same parents. How could he do it and I couldn't do it? Mm-hmm. I needed this. I needed this fellowship. I needed the book. I needed the solution in here to base my foundation on in order to get where I am today. Thanks.
Thank you. And just to further, like, my sister is also sober, but my sister's not an alcoholic. My sister is an addict. So there's different things we suffer from that we need to get clean and sober from. And so, you know, my sister is clean and sober off her drug of choice, and I'm clean and sober off alcohol. We have different afflictions, so different methods work for different things. Not everyone is built the same. Like, I have the allergy. 100% I have that allergy. My sister doesn't know what that is, but she's still an addict and has her own demons, and she went through a whole different thing. The funny thing in comparison is I've dealt with my resentments through this program, and so she's done through therapy. So she's like, "How come Mom doesn't get under your skin like that?" I'm like, "Oh, because I did a set of steps around it." So I've tried to give her a little bit of a taste of what we've done, just in comparison, because she still has a few resentments that she could clear up. Pamela.
Hi, everybody. There was a couple of things that I wanted to share. The person that had shared about the dogma, that was really helpful. I needed to hear that. I was getting resistant. I was thinking it, and whoever shared about it said that they felt like they needed to share it, and thank you, because it really helped me. I get resistant when I hear any religion type of stuff spoken in here. Higher power, all of that, but I believe this was based off Christianity, which I'm not, and so for me, it's really tough to, and when I look up certain things or phrases, it talks about Bible study, and then I feel like I don't. All right, I'll stop off that for a minute. My other thought is I believe energy cannot be either created or destroyed. That's a physics concept. And I believe that addiction of any sort, whether it's drugs, alcohol, we're all addicts. We don't ever really get rid of a certain addiction. We just replace it. And so being a newcomer to this program, the fact that from the way beginning I was told or learning that this is a lifelong thing, that I'm joining like a program I can never leave. I know a lot of people are probably resistant to hearing me say that because they're going to say, oh no, it's so wonderful and we don't, whatever. But it was like, I didn't want to make that kind of commitment. It kind of tells me I can't get fixed and I can't fix myself. And I'm going to have this label smacked on my head for the rest of my life. And I have other, aspirations that I want to be. And I love the support. I love what it's doing for me. I love the steps. But I just feel a lot of resistance because it's like going from one extreme to the next. You're replacing this drug that gave you a feeling to spiritual, to God. And for the rest of your life, you're going to be continuing to go to these meetings and read this book and over and over and over. And anything repetitious just kind of becomes, you don't think about it. And then you end up preaching to people, and no one wants to be judged or preached at all. I mean, it's helpful. This is helpful. I appreciate this meeting. I love coming here and seeing you ladies. I loved what happened last week with Leslie and the medication. Another thing I needed to hear when you said, did you take your medication? The fact that you guys are strong enough to say that to one another. I mean, that's the support I love. And then I also had a question. If anybody wanted to give me some advice. So I'm newer to the program and it's mostly men. I'm single, I'm not interested. It's my first year. I've made it clear I'm not interested. But somebody that helped me find a new sponsor has been trying to hang out. And so I accepted, or I told him he can pick me up for the meeting tonight because I'm sometimes late. I don't know where it is. I get stressed out. And I'm wondering if maybe I should, even though he's the one that got me the sponsor, maybe I should call that off because I don't want him to get the wrong ideas. I've already told him I'm not interested in that, but I don't want to be responsible for, I want to accept help without him thinking anything, So if anybody has any advice on that, please let me know.
Well, it's AA. We always have advice on stuff, but let's, Lois this time. Let's stop the tape real quick because it is 12 o'clock and we're not going to go on, and then we can answer that and have a quick